Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the January 12th, 2023 regular meeting of the Moraine City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Doherty?
Here.
Ms. Marcus?
Here.
Mr. Burchett?
Here.
Mrs. Witt?
Here.
Mayor Murphy?
Here. And now let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council has copies of the December 8th, 2022 regular meeting minutes. Does anyone have any changes or corrections? The minutes are approved as submitted. Tonight, we have a special presentation with the Greater Dayton RTA. Sir, would you like to come to the podium? Press the red button, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for having me here. My name is Brandon Policicchio. I'm the Chief Customer and Business Development Officer for the Greater Dayton RTA. First off, I hope everybody had a chance. I know it's not the best weather outside, but to check out the Marine bus, which we're very proud of our community buses that we've started rolling out in the community over the past 2 years. And I'm happy to say that this bus will be rolling around throughout Montgomery County for the life of the bus, which could be up to 10 years. So available to the community for community events that you may have, so please feel free to reach out to us. We've had other communities utilize it over this past summer. Some used it as a cooling station at some events that they had, just something as simple as that. So again, that bus is here to be there for your community. What I wanted to do this evening was just give a quick update on RTA and its services here in the city of Moraine. Next slide. RTA is Montgomery County's public transportation provider. Over 500 employees are responsible for delivering our public transportation services throughout the county. Over 65% of our customers are traveling on a daily basis to get to jobs, followed by healthcare appointments and educational opportunities. Next slide. This year, RTA is celebrating 50 years. Now, I know some of you that might have been in the area for a while said, wait a minute, you guys have been rolling buses around here for more than 50 years. It's the 50th anniversary of the Greater Dayton RTA when it was established. As you know, public transportation services in Montgomery have been going on way longer than 50 years, but this is our 50th anniversary. We started our celebrations in November last year, and we're continuing them throughout this year. We have our special anniversary buses that are in that white color that you see there. They're also around in the community. And we're doing special events for our customers throughout the year. Next slide. One exciting customer feature that we were excited to add over the past 3 years that it's been in place now is our new Tap Pay services, which is the way that our customers pay on board our vehicles. What's been great about our new Tap Pay program is, unlike the traditional transit payment system that we had operated previously, what ended up happening is those customers who were least able to afford the upfront cost of, let's say, a monthly pass, ended up paying daily with cash on board or getting a day pass on a daily basis. And by the end of the month, they ended up paying substantially more than those that could afford to pay a monthly pass at the beginning of the month. What this system allows is for customers to be capped on a daily and monthly basis. So that way, no one pays more than the daily rate. No one pays more than the monthly rate, and really delivering equity to our low-income customers as well as our unbanked and unbanked customers. Other features of the system include the ability for customers to load funds not only at payment kiosks at our transit centers, but they can also go to over 200 locations located throughout the county, locations such as Speedway, Walgreens, Family Dollar, Walmart, and they can actually exchange cash to have value loaded to their cards or their smartphones in those locations. And what that's been able to do is allow us to go completely cashless on board our vehicles. We no longer accept cash on board our vehicles, but we still accept cash as a form of payment to load value to your account at all those locations that I referenced earlier, as well as being able to do that through Transit app, which is the mobile payment app that customers can use. And finally, we're excited that this year, probably towards the end of this year, we're going to be able to launch contactless payments. So customers will be able to board with either their, I don't know if you've ever seen those, the debit and credit cards are coming out with that little Wi-Fi symbol on them. So customers that have that type of debit or credit card can actually tap that when they get on the vehicle, and it will actually continue to cap them on a daily or monthly rate. So they don't even need to have a smartphone or need to have the Tap Pay card getting on board in the future. What that'll be critical for is for customers who may be a part of either a state or a federal benefit program, and they have those funds loaded to one of those cards, they could actually use that card as a way to pay to getting on the vehicle versus having to go to one of our outlets or access funds that way. Next slide. A quick update of where we're at. We have 18 bus routes throughout the county, over 2,500 bus stops. We have our Connect programs, which I'll speak about. And just recently, within the past year, we started launching the same service 7 days a week. One thing we've learned from the pandemic is that travel patterns have changed with our customers. There's no longer that, AM and PM peak. Really, travel is happening throughout the day. So by leveling out our services and making the same service, whether you're traveling on a Monday or Sunday, that's improved the transportation options for our customers. And here, many of them are traveling to essential jobs within the community. Next slide. We have 3 types of Connect programs that I referenced earlier. The first one is On Demand. That is a program that we started back in 2017 where we provide zone-based services within certain areas of the county where we do not have bus routes. And we partner with Uber and Lyft, and customers are able to utilize that service to either travel within those individual zones or, like over 70% of the customers using that program do today, they transfer to one of our bus routes. So it's providing them what's called a first and last mile connection. It's primarily in areas where we had previously extremely low bus route service or no services at all. So we've been able to actually expand transportation in some areas due to this program. Customers, though, who may need extra assistance or a Lyft-equipped vehicle, our drivers provide that transportation within those zones. The other service we have is paratransit. Some of you might remember the term Project Mobility. Those are the smaller white vehicles that you may see running around. That's our paratransit service. That service is countywide, so anyone who's eligible can ride that service within the county. That is primarily for individuals that have, due to a cognitive or a physical disability, cannot access the bus route service. That program is available for them to utilize. And then finally, the 5310 program is a program that we introduced this past year. And this program allows those who are 65 and older and persons with disabilities, regardless, there's no eligibility requirement. All that we require is that the trip is either to or from a medical appointment or a grocery or pharmacy. So what this has done through a federal program in partnership with the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, we're able to subsidize the cost of these trips for these individuals so that they can make these essential trips for the cost of $5 each way, which if any of you have taken a taxi or an Uber, that is a lot lower than that. And 2, the customers are allowed to bring someone with them on that trip as well for no cost. And this is a program that will continue until the money runs out, if you will. Next slide. In terms of the services here in the city of Moraine, we have our routes 18, 17, 18, and 19. That run through the community, as well as our paratransit service that I just mentioned today. Next slide. So let's talk about the future. I want to thank Michael and your team for meeting with us back in November. That was very insightful. We were able to learn about things that are coming to the city of Moraine and where access might be needed in this area, and that was extremely helpful as we are putting together what we call our transit system redesign, which actually will be released here within the next 2 weeks. So those conversations that we had and understanding where the economic development is happening, we're able to include those within our plans that will be public here in the next 2 weeks, especially some of the economic development news that I'm sure you are all aware of, but that a lot of the community was made aware of with the expansions of jobs in certain areas. So we'll be looking at providing additional bus service in areas where we don't today in order to provide access to those areas. One route that we are looking to do will actually allow customers to travel from the west side of the county south through Moraine, so the customers actually don't have to go into downtown to come out. So that'll create some direct job access as well on the northwest, west, and southwest side of the county. And with that, that's our presentation. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. That phone number you had on there for the 5310, is that the phone number to give to people to call to schedule?
Yes, 937-425-8300, and
Okay.
they can set you up.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir. Now we will go into reports. Finance Committee,
No
anything?
report, thank you.
Finance Director, anything to report?
Yes, in your packet, you have my November Finance Director report. If you remember, in December, I didn't have enough time between when November closed to be able to produce the November report for the first meeting of December. So, so you have the report with you. I will have my December report at the second meeting here in January, and I'll also have some additional comments about the year and how we did in terms of our financial picture. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Committee of the Whole, anything to report?
No report.
City Manager, anything to report?
The only items beyond the written report is one, to congratulate and welcome our new street superintendent, Chris Dunn, who's out there in the audience. You may know him, right?
Maybe.
And then,
Heard of him.
yeah, and then secondly, I had sent out a request, and I got a few responses back regarding the West Carrollton CAB meeting with the school district where we would host. The dates were the 5th and the 19th, and so far, in the responses I've got, 5th seems to be winning. So what I would ask is, any of you up here today, do you know if you would have a conflict on the 5th, or can I move forward with that date?
It's good for
What
me.
month was that?
April.
No.
Good there, Don?
I'm
Randy?
good.
Yeah, it's good
Okay.
for me.
It would be our intent to host at the rec
It's
center.
not for you.
Oh, no, that's
Oh, I
fine.
thought you said no.
I was adding it.
So it'll be our intent to host at the rec center. You may remember from attending in the past that we'll also, as it gets closer, determine and have food, have dinner. It'll be held at 6 p.m. and I will get with the school board and administration on that. So thank you. And that's all that I have.
Okay. Law Director, anything to report?
I just have one item this evening, Mayor. That's a request to add Resolution 7900-23 to the agenda this evening. That's a resolution essentially to replace Mr. Hammis on the Edge Advisory Committee with Mr. Eisenbraun. So I would just need a motion and vote to add that to the agenda.
I'll make a motion that we add Resolution 7900-23 to the agenda tonight per the law director.
You've heard the motion. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
And the other item was a reference on the agenda to add 7899-23. That was a resolution to appoint members to the Charter Review Commission. However, I'm going to request that that not be added this evening because we need 9 members for that. So we're a couple short, so I'm going to ask that we hold off on that until we can get a couple more members for the next meeting. Thank you.
And then for mine, I have Mayor's Court. I have Mayor's Court for the month of December 2022. The gross revenues for Mayor's Court was $14,936 after various expenses and disbursements. A total of $11,065 was deposited into the general fund. I also have I would like to extend from me and all of council condolences to the Street Department Secretary Sherry Bersher and her family on the loss of her father, Larry Bersher, who passed away on January the 1st. And now we will go into resolutions.
No ordinances. We have Resolution 7897-23, a resolution declaring the items listed on the attached 2023 list to be surplus and no longer needed for municipal purposes, and authorizing the city manager to dispose of such items through GovDeals auction or donation to a nonprofit organization or through a trade-in program.
This resolution declares surplus items within the city to be no longer usable and will be disposed of through auction or donation. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Are there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Resolution 7898-23, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Fuyao Asset Management A LLC, a Michigan limited liability company duly qualified to do business in the state of Ohio, and Fuyao Glass America Incorporated, an Ohio corporation, collectively the company, to provide a 5-year economic development reimbursement grant of $750,000 to offset costs of redevelopment and improvement of facilities located at 800 Fuyao Avenue in the city of Moraine.
This resolution allows the city manager to enter into an agreement with Booyah Glass America to provide a 5-year economic development reimbursement grant for redevelopment and improvement of the facilities at 800 Booyah Avenue. Motion to approve.
Before we approve it, could you explain more, Mike, on how that 7,000 is broken up?
Yes, the 750,000, there, in the agreement, there are criteria that has to be met on an annual basis over 5 years. Essentially, each year that has met, there will be a $150,000 payment provided to Fuyao. And again, through this incentive effort, the collaboration with the Ohio Department of Development and the Dayton, through the Dayton region as a whole, the Dayton Coalition, this project is bringing 500 jobs to the city and $26 million in new payroll. Of course, the pledges, pledge 1 is that they got to be under construction. Pledge 2 is that they've begun the hiring process. 3 and 4 is that they're hitting certain levels of employment. I believe it's 150 and 300, and then they need to be at the 500 in the final year and continue to maintain that pledge payroll of $26 million.
Is there anything else?
No, I will just say that if the number sounds somewhat familiar, there was an EDGE grant that we had secured through Montgomery County for the exact same dollar amount. Thank you.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? Any more? Roll call, please.
Mr. Daugherty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Okay, we do not have Resolution 7899-23, so 7900-23, a resolution appointing Michael Davis as representative and Matthew Eisenbrown as alternate to the EDGE Advisory Committee for a term ending December 31st, 2023.
This resolution approves appointments to the EDGE Advisory Committee and names Michael Davis as representative and Matthew Eisenbrown as alternate for terms ending December 31st, 2023. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes. And we have no persons appearing before council. We will go into other business. Fire Department, anything to report?
Yes, ma'am. Just glad to be here for this new year and looking forward to the changes coming to the fire department. Thank you.
Police Department, anything to report?
Nothing to report, Mayor. Thank you.
Building and maintenance, no, they're not here. Street Department, anything to report?
I'd just like to thank everyone for the opportunity to be able to, lead the street department in this position. And I look forward to working with all the city employees and residents and trying to do the best that we can over in the street department.
Parks and Rec Director.
Yeah, I just, excuse me, I wanted to thank Kelly Stricker for coming on board as our new program coordinator. She is ready to hit the ground running and start doing some new programs. So we're excited for that, and hopefully we can get some new programs going. So,
Community Develop Director.
I just wanted to thank council for your support of the Fuyao grant tonight. I think that's very important. It's a great opportunity for us, and I think it's going to bring many benefits to the city in the future. So thank you. That's all I have.
Building and Zoning Administrator.
I'd like to congratulate Chris Dunn and to thank Streets, Police, and Fire because they helped me out a lot. Thank you.
City Manager, anything further to report?
I have nothing more. Thank you.
Law Director, anything else to report?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Finance Director, anything to report?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Clerk of Council, anything to report?
I have nothing. Thank you, Mayor.
Miss Allen, anything?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Miss Marcus?
Nothing to report.
Miss Witt?
Yes, I'd like to add my congratulations to Chris. Great addition to the city department heads. Good to see you back. We missed you. And just wishing everyone a very prosperous new year and hope that we all maintain the high quality of service that we give our residents. Thank you all.
Mr. Miller, anything to report?
Nothing further, Mayor, thanks.
Mr. Doherty, anything to report?
The same. Congratulations, Chris. You know, you've had a great trainer, and I'm sure you'll hit the ground running. You'll be great, and I'm looking forward to what lies ahead there. And also, I'm excited about this new year, a new beginning. You know, we're ready to go, and we're ready to see some great things for the city, and that's all I have.
Mr. Burchett,
I have
anything?
no report, thank you.
And all I'd like to say is congratulations, Chris. Glad to have you here. Hope you like it. I know you'll do good in that. And I would like to wish everybody a happy new year and that, yes, we have a new year coming and hopefully we'll hit the ground running this year. I would also like to thank the Miami Valley Communications Council for broadcasting this meeting live as well as any future rebroadcast. This regular council meeting is adjourned at 6:22.